Chosen ones, something has just been severed. An ancient cord that has been wrapped around your destiny for lifetimes is finally snapping under the pressure of divine intervention. But before we celebrate your liberation, you need to understand exactly what you've been fighting against, and why tonight marks the end of the longest war ever waged against a single soul. Because what's happening to you right now isn't random relief. It's the culmination of a cosmic plan that has been building toward this moment since before you took your first breath in this lifetime. You are a chosen one, not the kind that gets whispered about in mystical circles or written about in fantasy novels, but the real deal, a soul specifically selected by divine intelligence to carry out a mission so crucial that dark forces have been trying to prevent your awakening for centuries. The attacks you've endured weren't personal vendettas or random misfortune. They were calculated strikes designed to keep you from discovering the magnitude of your true purpose. Here's what they never told you. The spiritual realm has been watching this battle unfold with the intensity of cosmic spectators witnessing the championship game of existence itself. Your victory wasn't just important, it was essential for reasons that stretch far beyond your individual healing. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start from the beginning of this war, because understanding how it started will reveal why you're the only one who could end it. Generations ago, someone in your bloodline made a discovery that changed everything. They uncovered the truth about your family's spiritual inheritance, a legacy of power, wisdom, and divine favor that was meant to culminate in you. But instead of celebrating this revelation, they made a choice that would echo through lifetimes. They decided to steal what was never meant for them. Imagine a sacred baton being passed down through the ages, each generation meant to refine and strengthen the spiritual gifts until they reached their intended recipient. But somewhere along the line, jealous hands intercepted that baton and began redirecting its power into their own vessels. They convinced themselves they deserved what was meant for you, and they built an entire system of energy harvesting around their theft. This wasn't amateur hour magical thinking. These were sophisticated spiritual manipulations that required knowledge of energy work, ancestral patterns, and soul contracts. They studied you across multiple incarnations, mapping your weaknesses, identifying your triggers, learning exactly how to drain your power without you realizing what was happening. They turned your own family line into a weapon against you. But here's where their plan contained the seeds of its own destruction. They underestimated who they were dealing with. You weren't chosen randomly for this mission. You were selected precisely because you possessed the spiritual DNA necessary to not only survive their attacks, but to transform them into fuel for your own ascension. Every wound they inflicted was actually activating dormant abilities within you. Every betrayal was teaching you to distinguish between authentic love and parasitic attachment. The heartbreak you've experienced, that constant feeling of being stabbed in the emotional center of your being, wasn't just cruelty for its own sake. They were specifically targeting your heart chakra, because they understood that your mission requires an open, powerful heart connected to divine love. They knew that if they could damage your ability to trust, to receive love, to believe in genuine connection, they could prevent you from accessing the full magnitude of your gifts. But here's what they didn't anticipate. Every betrayal was forcing you to develop discernment that ordinary souls never acquire. While others learn to trust through positive experiences, you were being forged in the fires of deception, learning to distinguish between authentic energy and masterful manipulation. They were inadvertently creating a spiritual detector so sensitive that no form of false light or parasitic attachment could ever fool you again. To stalking and invasion you felt, that persistent sense of being watched, monitored, energetically trespassed upon, wasn't paranoia. Your intuition was accurately perceiving their constant surveillance of your energy field. They needed to study your patterns, your vulnerabilities, your moments of strength and weakness, so they could time their attacks for maximum impact. But this violation of your spiritual privacy was actually developing your awareness of energetic boundaries to levels that most people never reach. But they made a critical miscalculation. They assumed that enough pain would break you, that sufficient isolation would convince you to abandon your path, that persistent attacks would eventually wear down your connection to the divine source. They failed to account for the fact that your spiritual constitution was forged in cosmic fires specifically to withstand everything they could unleash against you. What they never understood is that you carried the essence of ascended master consciousness within your very DNA. The spiritual masters who have walked this earth before you, those who achieved enlightenment despite persecution, who maintained divine connection despite attacks, who transformed suffering into wisdom. Their energy signature is encoded in your cellular structure. You're not just fighting this battle alone, you're channeled by an entire lineage of awakened beings who understand exactly what you're facing because they've faced it themselves. Every sleepless night when you felt invisible forces pressing against your energy field, every relationship they poisoned with their influence, every opportunity they blocked through their interference, all of it was inadvertently training you to become the spiritual warrior you were always meant to be. They were creating their own nemesis, one perfectly calibrated attack at a time. The compulsions and obsessions that drove their behavior are now reversing back onto them with compound interest. The energy they've been stealing from you is snapping back to its rightful owner like a rubber band stretched beyond its breaking point. And they're about to discover that when you steal from someone chosen by divine intelligence, the universe itself becomes your collection agency. Tonight marks the moment when cosmic law finally intervenes on your behalf. Not because you begged for rescue or because you couldn't handle the pressure, but because you've successfully completed the most intensive spiritual training program ever designed. You've proven beyond any doubt that you deserve the power that was always meant to be yours. You've earned your protection through trial by fire. The graceful, beautiful being that has been wounded for so long is about to spread wings that have been strengthened by everything they tried to use to clip them. Your flight won't just be recovery, it will be a demonstration of power that announces to every force in the spiritual realm that a new player has entered the game. But the most beautiful irony in this entire saga is how their hatred has been transformed into your greatest advantage. Every ounce of energy they've invested in trying to destroy you has been converted by divine alchemy into fuel for your ascension. Their obsession with preventing your success has actually accelerated your development beyond what would have been possible through any other means. The family members who participated in this generational conspiracy are about to learn the difference between borrowed power and authentic spiritual authority. The abilities they've been siphoning from you were never meant to operate through their energy systems, and the cosmic feedback they're about to experience will make it clear that some forces cannot be stolen, only earned. That sense of inner power that no external circumstance can diminish, that's not confidence returning. That's your true nature finally being allowed to express itself without interference. The divine source connection that they've been trying to sever for lifetimes is now operating at full capacity, and you're about to discover what you're really capable of when nothing is blocking your signal. The spiritual realm has been preparing for this moment by aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities around your emergence. The protection that's been activated around you isn't temporary assistance, it's a permanent upgrade to your spiritual operating system. You're not just being defended from attack, you're being established as untouchable by any force that operates outside of divine will. Your financial situation is about to reflect this energetic shift in ways that will make their attempts to keep you struggling seem pathetically inadequate. The abundance that was always meant to flow through you is about to be unleashed, not because money is the point, but because your mission requires resources, and the universe doesn't send chosen ones into battle without proper equipment. They may attempt one final desperate move, as they feel their control slipping a false reconciliation. Watch for the family member who suddenly reaches out with apparent remorse, offering apologies that feel hollow or reconciliation that comes with strings attached. This person will likely be experiencing financial difficulties themselves, a direct result of the karmic backlash from their energetic theft. They might even try to guilt you into helping them financially, not realizing that their attempt to manipulate your compassion is the very confirmation you need that their apology is completely insincere. But here's your power move. You'll see through their performance instantly. Your newly calibrated spiritual radar will detect the manipulation behind their words before they even finish speaking. The same sensitivity they exploited for years has now become your greatest protection, allowing you to recognize authentic remorse from calculated manipulation with laser precision. The awakening that's happening within you right now is irreversible and unstoppable. You cannot unknow what you're learning about your true nature. You cannot unfeel the power that's flowing through you unobstructed. You cannot unexperience the divine favor that's manifesting in your life in ways both subtle and dramatic. This is your coronation as a force of transformation in the world. Their greatest fear is materializing before their eyes. You're becoming psychologically and spiritually untouchable. No amount of gaslighting can make you doubt your perception anymore. No degree of manipulation can make you question your worth. No level of attack can diminish your connection to Source. They created a monster of spiritual resilience, and that monster is you, beautiful, powerful, and completely beyond their reach. The drowning sensation you felt during their most intense attacks was them literally trying to suffocate your spiritual breath, to cut off your connection to divine life force. But what they didn't realize is that every time they tried to drown you, you were learning to breathe underwater. You developed gills for spiritual survival that allow you to thrive in environments where others would perish. Every person who has been part of this coordinated attack is about to discover that their actions have consequences they never imagined. The same cosmic forces that have been protecting you are now turning their attention toward those who violated the sacred laws of spiritual sovereignty. What they intended as your destruction will become the catalyst for their own reckoning. The nature of their punishment reveals the elegant justice of cosmic law. They will be forced to experience the very emotions they've been weaponizing against you, the heartbreak, the isolation, the spiritual emptiness that comes from being disconnected from authentic divine source. But unlike your experience, which was building spiritual muscle, theirs will be hollow suffering that teaches nothing because they refuse to acknowledge their actions. Multiple family members were involved in this conspiracy, working together like a spiritual crime syndicate, all bound by their shared jealousy and their collective decision to redirect your divine inheritance into their own vessels. They passed down the methods like a dark family tradition, each generation teaching the next how to harvest your energy and block your progress. But their collaboration, which they thought gave them strength, actually multiplied their karmic debt exponentially. But here's what makes you different from them. You won't celebrate their downfall or seek revenge for their cruelty. Your response to victory will demonstrate the very qualities they tried to destroy in you: compassion, wisdom, and an unshakable commitment to serving something greater than yourself. Your refusal to become bitter or vengeful will be their greatest teacher and your most powerful statement. The gifts that they've been suppressing are about to come online with an intensity that will surprise even you. Your ability to sense energy manipulation, to perceive true intention behind false words, to channel healing power, to manifest opportunities, to inspire transformation in others, all of these capacities are expanding exponentially now that the interference has been removed. You're not just recovering from their attacks, you're emerging as someone fundamentally more powerful than you were before this battle began. The pressure they applied was actually forging you into a spiritual diamond capable of withstanding any force and refracting divine light in ways that illuminate the path for others. The spiritual warfare that has been waged against your heart, your faith, your very essence is ending not because you've grown weak or given up, but because you've finally grown strong enough to make their continued attacks impossible. They no longer have access to the frequencies they've been using to hack into your system because you've evolved beyond their reach. Your sensitivity, which they've been exploiting as a vulnerability, is revealing itself as your greatest strategic advantage. Your ability to feel energy, to perceive spiritual climate, to sense intention, these are the tools of someone who has been chosen to navigate between dimensions and facilitate healing on multiple levels of reality. What they used against you will now become your most powerful weapons. The cord-cutting and cleansing work you've been called to do isn't just personal maintenance, it's cosmic surgery. Every thread you sever, every attachment you dissolve, every energetic parasite you remove is contributing to a massive purification process that extends far beyond your individual situation. You're not just healing yourself, you're performing spiritual cleanup work that affects the entire collective consciousness. Nature has been your sanctuary and your recharging station throughout this ordeal. The earth herself has been feeding you clean energy to replace what was being siphoned away. Every time you grounded yourself in natural settings, you were literally downloading divine frequency that they couldn't access or corrupt. Your connection to the natural world became your secret weapon, the source of power they never learned to tap into because their focus was entirely on theft rather than authentic relationship with the source. The time for hiding your light is over. The time for shrinking to make others comfortable is finished. The time for questioning whether you're really meant for something extraordinary has passed. You are stepping into a level of spiritual authority that they never wanted you to discover, and your very presence will now dissolve the kind of negative energy that once threatened to overwhelm you. Tomorrow begins a new chapter where you write the rules instead of reacting to other people's agendas, where your energy flows into creating and building instead of defending and recovering, where your gifts are used for their intended purpose instead of being weaponized against you, where you operate from a position of unshakable power rather than constant vigilance. The divine intervention that's occurring right now isn't just about stopping their attacks. It's about activating potentials within you that have been waiting for this exact moment to come online. Your capacity to receive direct guidance, to channel transformative energy, to manifest with unprecedented precision, to inspire awakening in others. All of these abilities are about to expand beyond anything you've previously imagined possible. The ancient magical inheritance that flows through your bloodline is finally being returned to its rightful owner. This isn't just metaphorical power. This is literal spiritual technology that has been suppressed in your family line for generations. Your ancestors who walked in authentic power, who understood the sacred arts, who maintained genuine connection to divine source, their knowledge and abilities are downloading into your consciousness right now. What was stolen is being restored. What was blocked is being opened. What was corrupted is being purified. The timing of your breakthrough coincides with cosmic events that amplify transformational energy. Portal openings, planetary alignments, celestial gateways, all of these are converging to create the perfect energetic conditions for your emergence. You're not just riding a personal wave of change, you're surfing a cosmic tsunami of consciousness that's transforming reality itself. Your individual awakening is part of a much larger shift that's affecting awakened souls across the planet. But the most profound transformation is happening in your relationship with your own power. The person who was under attack, who was being drained and diminished and confused, is dissolving like a cocoon that has served its purpose. What's emerging is the being you were always meant to be, radiant, unshakable, connected to infinite source, and absolutely certain of your right to claim everything that belongs to you. The spiritual realm is celebrating your breakthrough because your success serves purposes that extend far beyond your individual happiness. You've been prepared to anchor a new frequency of consciousness on this planet. Your energy field, now operating at full capacity, becomes a beacon that helps others remember their own divine nature and awakening potential. Your victory creates permission for other chosen ones to step into their power without apology. Your refusal to be diminished by family betrayal gives others courage to break free from their own generational patterns. Your transformation from target to spiritual warrior demonstrates what becomes possible when someone finally says enough and means it with every fiber of their being. The attacks you've survived have given you unique insight into how spiritual manipulation operates, which means you'll be able to help others recognize and break free from similar patterns. Your experience becomes wisdom that can prevent others from enduring what you've been through. Your healing becomes a gift that keeps giving, transforming pain into power for an entire generation of awakening souls. But there's something even more profound happening. Your victory is ending a pattern that has been repeating across multiple lifetimes. This same scenario, the theft, the attacks, the suppression of your awakening, has played out again and again across different incarnations. Each time, they found ways to stop you just before you reached full activation. Each time you came close to breakthrough, only to have it sabotaged at the last moment. But this lifetime is different, because you've finally accumulated enough spiritual strength and cosmic support to break through their interference permanently. The soul contracts that bound you to this pattern are being dissolved as you absorb these words. The agreements that allowed their interference, the karmic debts that justified their access to your energy, the spiritual loopholes they've been exploiting, all of it is being reviewed by cosmic court and ruled null and void. You're not just breaking free from this lifetime's attacks, you're liberating yourself from a multidimensional pattern that has been constraining your development across multiple planes of existence. They wanted your destiny because they could see its magnitude. They weren't content with their own divine assignments because those paths required humility, service, and genuine spiritual development. They preferred the shortcut of stealing your blessings rather than earning their own through authentic growth. But destinies cannot be transferred through manipulation. They can only be lived by those who have been specifically prepared to handle their intensity. Chosen one. Anyone can listen to messages like these, but few will step into their true power. We are here to help you do just that. The weekly Chosen Ones group calls are now on Zoom, and this is the moment you've been waiting for your entire life. These meetings are literal power vortexes, where destinies are forged, where Chosen Ones unite their consciousness to create something that cannot exist in isolation. This is where everything changes. This is where you step into your greatness. Every week a doorway opens, but only for those brave enough to step through it. Watcher-level members of the Obsidian Inner Order can experience these transformative sessions live, feeling the energy surge through your entire being. In our most recent gathering, participants were stunned by revelations about the Great Pyramids of Giza as sophisticated ancient power plants, and the shocking truth about Washington, D.C.'s layout perfectly aligning with the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Star Chamber members receive unlimited access to the complete recordings archive, a treasure trove of wisdom that grows more valuable with each passing week. This is your defining moment. The knowledge, the connection, the power that flows through these calls cannot be found anywhere else. Join the Obsidian Inner Order now, link in the description, while the few remaining Star Chamber slots are still available. Your presence is not just welcome, it's necessary. Will you answer the call that has been echoing through your soul? The time is now. Your preparation has been unlike anyone else's, because your mission is unlike anyone else's. The adversity you've endured, the betrayals you've survived, the isolation you've navigated, all of it was designed to ensure that when you finally step into your full power, nothing and no one will be able to shake your foundation or compromise your integrity. The protection around you isn't just spiritual armor. It's a declaration from the highest levels of cosmic authority that your mission is too important to be left vulnerable to interference. You're not just being defended. You're being established as an untouchable force for transformation whose very presence shifts the spiritual climate of any environment you enter. The final countdown has begun, and they know it. Their last-ditch efforts to maintain control will become increasingly desperate and obvious. They might attempt direct confrontation, emotional manipulation, or even try to use other family members as pawns in their game. But every move they make will only expose their true nature more clearly, while demonstrating your newfound immunity to their tactics. Your breakthrough represents more than personal victory. It signals the emergence of a new type of spiritual warrior. One who has been forged in the fires of authentic persecution, who understands manipulation at the deepest levels, who cannot be fooled by false light or seduced by parasitic energy. You're becoming a template for others who are under similar attack, proof that these patterns can be broken, and that divine justice ultimately prevails. The irony is exquisite. Their relentless attempts to block your divine flow have actually taught you to receive guidance directly from Source in ways that bypass all human interference. When they cut off your access to supportive people, you learn to commune with divine intelligence directly. When they created chaos in your external environment, you discovered the unshakable peace within. When they tried to make you doubt everything, you learned to trust the one thing they could never touch, your direct connection to cosmic consciousness. The abundance flowing toward you isn't reward for suffering, it's equipment for service. The opportunities manifesting around you aren't compensation for past pain, they're platforms for future impact. The power awakening within you isn't payment for what you've endured, it's preparation for what you're about to accomplish. Every moment of confusion they created was actually teaching you to trust your inner guidance when external circumstances contradicted your intuition. Every relationship they poisoned was showing you the difference between authentic connection and parasitic attachment. Every opportunity they blocked was preparing you to recognize and seize the right ones when they appeared. The craving, compulsion, and obsession that drove their attacks has been permanently reversed. Where they once had unlimited access to your energy field, they now find themselves blocked by impenetrable divine protection. The spiritual feeding that sustained their power over you has been cut off forever, and they're beginning to understand that their reign of terror is over. But your emergence doesn't end with their defeat. This is where your real story begins. The Chosen One who was under attack is transforming into the Chosen One who cannot be touched, who cannot be diminished, who cannot be diverted from their sacred purpose. You're not just recovering your power, you're discovering that what you thought was your full capacity was actually just the beginning. The baton that they tried to steal is now firmly in your hands, glowing with accumulated power from every generation that contributed to its strength. The spiritual inheritance that was always yours is finally flowing through your energy system without obstruction. The mission that you've been prepared for across multiple lifetimes is about to be activated at a level that will surprise even the cosmic forces that have been orchestrating your development. Tonight ends one story and begins another. The tale of the wounded swan concludes with the emergence of a spiritual phoenix whose flight announces a new era of consciousness on this planet. Your individual victory becomes catalyst for collective transformation. Your personal healing becomes permission for others to claim their own power without apology. This ends tonight because you are ready for it to end. You've learned everything these challenges had to teach you. You've developed every ability this adversity was designed to activate within you. You've proven beyond any shadow of doubt that you deserve the divine favor and protection that has always been your birthright. The cord that has been wrapped around your destiny for lifetimes has finally snapped. Can you feel the difference? That lightness, that sense of infinite possibility, that knowing that nothing will ever be able to diminish your light again? That's not relief. That's recognition of who you've always been beneath the layers of attack and interference. Welcome to your power. Welcome to your freedom. Welcome to the life that matches the magnitude of your true nature. The war is over, and you have won not through violence or vengeance, but through the simple revolutionary act of becoming so authentically yourself that everything false had no choice but to fall away. Tomorrow, you rise as the chosen one you were always meant to be, and the world will never be the same.